what are those various other threats? And I'll put that across to Amit. What are those various threats? Apart from physical security, let's go down to where your business lies, and that is cybersecurity. The moment we go into technology, we also open up our attack surfaces, our vulnerable surfaces, which goes into digital security. So what are the threats that you visualize in digital security, and how do you think we'll be able to handle it? Just put it in a crisp way, and then we'll see, apart from your opening remarks.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Major General Pavan Anand, for introducing me to the group. Thank you so much, Business World Security, for giving me this opportunity to be here on the panel. Thank you so much for Allied Digital, for which I work. It's a publicly listed company, and having strong technology background in remote infrastructure management, cyber security, cloud migration. We are also into smart cities and safe cities. So we are one of the top leaders in building safe cities. So thank you so much, Allied Digital, for giving me this opportunity. Now, from an opening comments perspective, as you rightly said, right? This is an honor where I am surrounded by all the military men, and as a normal person, it's an honor for me to share the stage with people like you. But with the earlier discussions, we've been talking more from a physical security perspective, and that reminds me of a story actually, where for one of our customers, there was an interesting incident which happened. Suddenly from the printers, someone fired printouts from the HR's email address, and there were not so nice things written on those printouts. So, bad language, not so nice aspects. And the company started investigating what's happening. And everyone started thinking from a physical security perspective. They started checking that at what time the printouts came in. So they started checking the CCTV cameras, who all were sitting during that time in the office, what was the movement, could they find any suspicious activities of a person who's trying to fire such wrong emails. They couldn't find anything. I mean, the investigation went on for a day or so, but eventually then the cyber security, the cyber aspect came into picture. The way it happened was someone sitting at home logged into the company's infrastructure using a VPN, and then he just fired those particular emails, right? So in today's world, physical security is one aspect, but in a new age world, cyber security is the major aspect which one has to look into. If you see from a crime rate and crime amount of crime, also it is it is a world phenomenon that the cyber crime has surpassed all other crimes together at a world level. And that is where cyber security becomes immense importance. Now, as my opening statement, we are talking about a secure nation. Right now, when we talk about nation, there are two aspects of nation: nation as an entity, and then people or organizations who make up the nation, right? So I actually bifurcate it as two different aspects of looking at a nation. Now, as a nation, as an entity, we have already started troubling the world. We have started launching, Chandrayaan. We have started launching, satellites left, right, center. ISRO is one of the most prominent organization. So the innovation is at the peak. At the same time, we have pioneered the whole concept of UPI, which no other country has done in the world. And that is again a remarkable innovation, which as a country we have done. So, so all other countries are, to be honest, I feel are unhappy with the way, India is progressing. But with all of these progresses, we are generating a lot of content. We are generating a lot of data, which is extremely sensitive, and which, if someone gets hold of it, can actually have a national security, and a security which is more fatal than our border securities, to be honest, right? Because it is the core knowledge of our company, of our country, and that is where we have to protect some of those aspects from a security perspective. uh, and then the other aspect is the organization. So, as I mean, I was so it was so interesting to hear what Major Manjeet was saying, that as a completely non-techie person, he also had to adopt to the technology. So there are a lot of such companies who are adopting to technologies, which means, again, they are also creating a lot of data, and lot of loopholes for getting attacked by the bad guys.
Absolutely. So, like Major Manjeet mentioned that cyber and has made us probably more unsafe in many ways, and people think that security is more of a cost than something that improves our bottom lines. That paradigm has to change. So we are all aware that the colonial pipeline in the US had to pay up $4.4 million when they got hacked. And of course, the FBI got after the hackers, which happened to be from Russia, and 2.2 million came back. But when JBS had to pay 11 million, nothing came back. So, in a way, protecting your bottom lines is what security does for you. So, in that manner, is that awareness now come into the Indian corporate world where we are getting more digitized? Do you think that awareness level needs to be ramped up, and people like us would be doing that? And what can we do to make that awareness come up faster?
That's a very interesting question. And again, I was talking to one of the CISOs of a very big organization, and it's a ITES company. Okay, and we were discussing about their security and how do we strengthen it. So one of his comment was, Amit, I have not been hacked until now. तो छोड़ो ना, क्यों पैसा खर्चा करना है? And that is the mindset all our organizations are still having, that I have not been hacked. I am not going to be in that visibility, right? So why do I need? Because strengthening your cyber security is an expense at first, but in a long term, it's a major saving for you. So that's the mindset organizations have now. Like it or not, unfortunately, the way India operates is with regulations and implementations of those regulations, right? The good step which Indian government has done is there are a couple of things which they have done. One is the data privacy regulation, which has got passed. Uh, but again, that is not applying to all the organizations. It is applying to organizations who are actually maintaining your personal data. So there are three aspects to the data privacy which is coming up. One is the protecting the public data which is there, then protecting the non-public data which is there, and third one is protecting the government data which is there. So these are the three main aspects on which the overall the bill is passed. So that is a good step which has happened. The second good step which has happened, and which happened actually last year, but still the implementation is not going that strong, and that is why people are still not taking it seriously. But certain has come up with the guidelines where organizations, any organization having IT assets, will have to follow certain norms if they are hacked. And again, there are multiple aspects. I may not go deeper into them, but the regulations are getting put in place. Now I think the implementation has to be very strong, right? Like, people, if they don't find a police on a signal, they are just going to break the signal.
Absolutely. So, now that the DPDP has come, I don't know, many of us may be aware, the penalty for data loss or personal data loss from your company If your and my data is lost by a company which has our data, they may be liable for paying up to 250 crores. That can wipe out anybody out here. So with that kind of regulation which has come in, I think that awareness has to be spread, and its organizations and its meetings such as this, which help spread that awareness that you better go into the DPDP and better start implementing issues, which all of us do, to protect them. Otherwise, most companies will be in trouble. So that's one major point that we can take away from today. But I mean, let's come back to physical security over here. And you've been working on it at Nokia in a big way. The incident happens because intelligence doesn't get developed in the first place. There may be information all around us, but we haven't put it together. What are the means that you are adopting to ensure that before an incident happens, how do you through predictive analysis, come about to bring that intelligence and make it actionable?
I have this. I think it's working now. Okay. What do we do at Nokia? Of course, that is a trade secret. I can't share that with you. Okay. That was in the lighter vein. I think the question.
Or he'll have to kill me.
The question here is that what do we do as corporate security which enhances this internal security of India per se? That should be the question which I have in mind. And how do you do that? First, I'll just go back slightly into history. That is when you had this 26/11 attack on the Bombay, the Taj, and the general public. So that was a game changer for the physical security part. I divide the Indian security into two scenarios. One is the pre-26/11 and the next is the post-26/11. Like I also divide the Indian army strategy before 1962 and post 1962. 1962 was a wake-up call for the Indian army. As on the same lines, 26/11 was the wake-up call for the corporate security, the physical security part. But close to about 159 people lost their lives, and close to about 200 people were wounded in Bombay. About 31 people lost their lives in the hotel itself, and 29 odd were injured. But did we learn our lessons from there? When you look back 15 years back, I had just come to the corporate then. And in fact, we had 4 people who were stuck in the Taj Hotel. That night, I was in Bangalore, and my boss, Mahindra Karakoti, I think he's around here. He's one of the speakers here. He gave me a call. He says, Colonel Saab, 4 bande phase hue hain, kya kar sakte ho? I was taken aback because I didn't have the resources, and it was the first experience for me. Had I been in the uniform, had I been outside the Taj, I could have done something. But remotely, it was something which was more of a wishful thinking that one sitting in Bangalore could bail out people from there. But that left an impression on me. And the impression which I carry still is that till date, we are not prepared to be handling such a situation again. It was a wake-up call, which we did not take. Just imagine we're sitting here, 100 odd people sitting here, and you hear gunshots outside now. You saw the security when you came in, and this is the height of security which we are sitting here today. Because we have G20 around the corner. You saw the state of security. You walked in here, a general frisking happened, and you are sitting here. You could carry any arms, you could carry any bombs, you could do anything and a Bombay could be repeated here today. What is the reason why we still have the fait accompli? The reason is what people have been harping since yesterday. Is the mindset which we have, is the cost which is associated with it. We do not have a buy-in from the business people, the people who run the economies of our corporate world. They do not give us the budget to be working on these things, which actually, first of all, you secure your boundaries inside your corporate. Then you make sure that you have the resources to be able to support the security forces outside. Maybe somewhere down the line when I am not there, or most of you, let's say 20 years down the line, people will start working on the collaboration between the corporate security and the security forces. The police will be seen as a friendly thing who require our support and not the other way around. I remember an incident that was just deviating out from the topic is, uh, I think it was early 80s. There were police riots in London, if somebody is aware of that. And what happened was that in the evening, there were a few teenagers who were playing hide and seek on the streets, and they saw a police vehicle coming in. And one of the kids, he went and opened what do you call these switch boxes on the sides, the power switch boxes which are on the roadside. He opened it and went inside and hid inside, and he got electrocuted and he died. People came onto the street saying that we do not want a police force which scares our children to death. So that is the mindset which we need here in India, that police has to be our friends, and there should be a positive support from us as the corporate guys to be supporting them in securing our premises and making the city secure and making the country secure. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Shakti. In fact, the whole thing is about, it was brought out earlier about the human-machine interface or the man-technology interface, which is going to make us probably a lot more safer when it comes to our corporate entities. Now, we've just touched upon a physical security aspect, which gets dovetailed with technology, and this will be possible, or will bring together a predictive kind of a security paradigm, which is where we want to go. We at MIGS we already have a data surfer, which keeps you constantly aware of OSINT around you, and keeps processing that data and gives you a predictive kind of a situation which could be building up, right? So if in all our institutions we start having some sort of a predictive analysis, and we have the AI tools for it, as we've got with the MIGS, you'll suddenly find that not only do you have a more secure corporate entity, but you also have a more secure nation, because when all of us are in our own small sphere safe, the nation does become secure, at least internally. I was sitting in the DG ITBP's office the other day, who's a colleague of mine, and he keeps getting inputs on a few hourly basis directly from every PP, every patrolling point on the northern borders. So that's where we are today. And that's how we are at the extreme end of our borders, with the DG getting inputs here on almost a real-time basis. Why can't that happen in the corporate world as well? And that's what makes us secure on our borders and internally within our companies. We then become members of a security culture. And you won't see so many policemen on the street, because half of them would probably be private security people who look after all of that. And it's people like Amit and his company, which make us cyber secure. So cyberspace, the new paradigm of sovereignty, needs to be kept safe, because there are no borders in cyberspace, and we have to create those borders. We have to ring fence ourselves in cyberspace so that we have that. So these are just 2 or 3 paradigms that we could discuss today in the short time we have. The board already says time up, and we've crossed over by 2 to 3 minutes. But it would be interesting to take these discussions further, a little more in detail, when we all meet outside, and perhaps on another occasion when we can come down to the specifics of how making the nation secure doesn't finish at the borders, but actually comes right down to our companies and our homes. We look forward to discussing this probably another time. Thank you, Amit, and thank you, Shakti.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.